What's going on? This is Terrence Manning. This is my show, My Thoughts Uncut. Thank you for joining, friends, family. I wanted to talk about the hostages that were recently released due to Mr. President Trump. Some call him Uncle Trump. I call him the greatest president of my generation and of your generation. Let's take a look at what Trump has to say, what CNN has to say, and believe it or not, Bill and Hillary actually giving Trump some credit. Let's deep dive and take a look.
Well, thank you very much, and that was a great honor. I appreciate it very much, Mr. President, Mr. General, Mr. President. Great General, great President. Thank you very much. This is the day that people across the region and around the world have been working, striving, hoping, and praying for. They have done things over the last month that I think were really unthinkable. Nobody thought this could happen. With the historic agreement we've just signed, those prayers of millions have finally been answered. As you know, the hostages have been returned, and further work goes on having to do with the, sadly to say, bodies. Together we've achieved what everybody said was impossible. At long last, we have peace in the Middle East, and it's a very simple expression, peace in the Middle East, and we've heard it for many years, but nobody thought it could ever get there, and now we're there. I want to congratulate everybody sitting in these first few rows and standing behind me. I don't know why they chose to stand, but I promise I'll make it short, okay? We are not going to keep you standing for long. These are great leaders. After years of suffering and bloodshed, the war in Gaza is over. Humanitarian aid is now pouring in, including hundreds of truckloads of food, medical equipment, and other supplies, much of it paid for by people in this room.
And Trump has actually stopped around 8 wars. One I remember where the African reporter was in his office, and I think she's from Republic of Congo, and she was saying that how he stopped the Congo Rwanda war, and she was praising him and saying that all these other presidents didn't even do anything. They claimed they would try, but they didn't do anything, including Barack Obama. So this is just another notch on his belt. This is just another notch on what he said he was going to do in his campaign. Promises kept. That's all I know.
Civilians are returning to their homes. The hostages are reuniting. I mean, it's beautiful. I'm just watching it backstage. The level of love and sorrow, I've never seen anything like it. It's amazing when you see they haven't seen their mother, their father. They haven't seen them in such a long time, and they lived in a tunnel, a very little tunnel, very deep. And the level of love is just incredible. It's a beautiful thing to see. It's, in one sense, it's so horrible that it could have taken place, but in another sense, it's so beautiful to see. A new and beautiful day is rising, and now the rebuilding begins. The rebuilding is maybe going to be the easiest part. I think we've done a lot of the hardest part, because the rest comes together. We all know how to rebuild, and we know how to build better than anybody in the world. I want to express my tremendous gratitude to the Arab and Muslim nations who helped make this incredible breakthrough possible. And you really did. To President El-Sisi of Egypt, who is so generously hosting us today. And I want to thank you for the outstanding job your country is doing in so many different ways, and for helping us so much with this peace agreement. I also want to thank the President for the escort of 6 fighter jets. Oh, we looked out the window, we said, I hope they're friendly, and they turned out to be very friendly. But we had 3 on each side, and they are beauties right out of the great, really American manufacturing hub. We make the greatest military equipment in the world. We have the strongest military in the world by far. And I knew exactly what those planes were, and I knew exactly how much you paid for those planes, too. You paid a lot, but you got a pretty good deal. And they are great planes, and we just appreciated
that. Trump, he still has a sense of humor even though he's making this speech. This is a phenomenal thing that's going on. This peace treaty This is phenomenal.
That was quite an escort in. It was very impressive. But Air Force One was really
Ceasefire,
covered
technically.
with Egyptian desert just a few months ago. If you think about it, just a few months ago it was Egyptian desert, and now it was just a few feet off our window. And it was a spectacular sight, and I appreciate it very much. Really, it was pretty good. You got our people by surprise. I don't know if they were thrilled right at the beginning, but they were thrilled as we sailed.
I want to actually take a look at the hostages actually seeing their families for the first time. And it's pretty emotional, but it's you'll see.
אתה בבית! אתה בבית! אתה בבית! מלך! 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 מלך!
I wonder if that's his mom.
אני חולה עליך, אני חולה.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. עצם חיים שלי, האור שלי, הלב שלי, הלב שלי, הלב שלי. די, זה מאחורינו. נשמות שלי, אוי, שנתיים, יום. תודה, תודה.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
I couldn't be in a different country, different culture, kissing another man on the cheek. I couldn't do it. I know it's their culture, but I couldn't do that. Now I want you to see a whole crowd of people just overwhelmed with joy.
We are continuing to watch here Hostage Square live there over in Tel Aviv, Israel, but we do want to bring breaking news on this very historic day when it comes to the war between Israel and Hamas. Now we are hearing from the Israel Defense Forces. All 20 living hostages have been released by Hamas. We're taking a look here at some social media posts. The first one from the IDF posted to X saying, according to information provided by the Red Cross, 13 hostages have been transferred into their custody and are on their way to IDF and ISA forces in Gaza. We do have another post because this is the latter 13 hostages, but earlier on this Monday, we did get word that 7 hostages were also
738 days.
The photos there saying this: after 738 days in captivity in Gaza, Matan, Gali, Ziv, Alon, Eitan, Omri, and Guy are coming home. It was just moments ago where we showcased live to you the images of those Red Cross vehicles ushering
That's 2 years. That's 2 years. Oof.
Believed and what may have been those hostages. I want to bring up some of those images here on your screen once again. Again, we showcased them to you live when it was happening just a few minutes ago here, but you can see here the image.
All right, let's take a look at what Mr. Bill and Hillary Clinton has to say about this.
John, breaking just moments ago, former President Bill Clinton has released a statement on the ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas. The horrors, I'm reading verbatim, the horrors of the October 7th, 2023 attack on Israel and the conflict they reignited have resulted in unbearable human loss, it reads. It has been hard to watch and nearly impossible to rationalize. It reads, I'm grateful that a ceasefire has taken hold, that the last 20 living hostages have been freed, and that desperately needed aid has begun to flow into Gaza. President Trump and his administration, Qatar, and other regional actors deserve great credit for keeping everyone engaged until the agreement was reached. Now, Israel and Hamas, with the support of the United States, the region, and the world, must try to turn this fragile moment into lasting peace that provides for the dignity and security of both Palestinians and Israelis. I believe that they can get there, but only if they do it together. And I go back to where we started these 2 hours.
See, in the rhetoric that was going on during the presidential campaign from Bill and Hillary and all the other Democrats were about he's a Nazi, he's a fascist, this and that. This man just did something that's almost damn near impossible. This peace deal in the Middle East. And how are the Democrats are going to label him as anything other than a peacemaker? This is a big blow to the Democrats. They technically did not want him to achieve this, but now they have to give him his props. They have to give him his grace. He's done so much for this country and others. And now let's look and see what Miss Hillary Clinton has to say.
Secretary Clinton, let me start with you. Does this diplomatic breakthrough make you hopeful about what's next?
Nora, it does. It's a really significant first step, and I really commend President Trump and his administration, as well as...
She does not want to have to give him credit, but she has no choice. CNN, CBS, ABC, all these networks, they have to give him his props on this.
Arab leaders in the region for making the commitment to the 20-point plan and seeing a path forward for what's often called the day after. Most importantly, the conflict hopefully will end with the ceasefire, the hostages will be returned, and then the very hard work of rebuilding Gaza, of finding the kind of security that Israel and the Palestinians after Hamas deserve to have, moving forward with the other points in the plan to try to create an opportunity for Palestinians to have a better life and for Israel to have greater peace and security. I am very hopeful that we'll be able to see progress. Today's a good start, but we have to keep going from here.
There you have it. Miss Hillary Clinton, along with her husband, Bill Clinton, both acknowledging the greatness of President Trump and what he has achieved. This is a big blow for Democratic Party because you have two prominent Democratic people like Bill and Hillary giving him his props. Are they going to try to cancel them now? I don't think Bill and Hillary would care if the crazy left tried to, well, the far left tried to cancel him. But this is a huge blow. He's been keeping his promises on making our country safer by getting out the illegal migrants, by also going from city to city and getting rid of these crazy amount of crime that's going on in Memphis and LA and Washington, D.C., and he's going to go to other cities. Chicago, he's already in. So I'm not sure what else you want him to do. All right, how about this? The only thing left, is Ukraine-Russia war. That's the only thing left that he has to get to a ceasefire and then a peace deal, which I think that might be one of the most difficult things he has to get done. Now, mind you, that was under the Biden administration. That war didn't start under Trump. But He gets that done. What else are the Democratic Party going to complain about? I don't know. When you have this man have troops and all of the resources that the federal law enforcement have in DC, they made that city better, safer. Same thing's going on in Memphis. There's so many people in Memphis, black people that live in Memphis, that are changing their tune and saying, yeah, it's safer out here now. We can actually have our kids play in the playground. We can actually go outside and pump gas. Come on. If you can't go outside to pump gas, that's not safe. This man deserves the Nobel Peace Prize next year, because I don't think he really was eligible this year. But next year, there's no way he shouldn't get it. Let me know what you guys think, family and friends. Leave a comment. Like, please, for the YouTube algorithm. And I will see you on the next video.